Alright, so this is going to be a crazy video because I'm going to show you my entire collection of Magic the Gathering cards. And I'm a beginner still. I've only been playing, what, like a few months now, since May. And I kind of bought in. I'm about, just slightly under $200 into Magic, which is laughable to some people. Some people have invested hundreds if not thousands of dollars, and I'm just short of 200, and I have a pretty decent kind of jank collection that you'll see. Just a bunch of random stuff. Got the board game of Ixalan over here, got the Star City games, 1,000 card gold collection, 1K gold collection, bought into a challenger deck, got these Planeswalker decks, which were kind of fun. A little bit of jank in there as well, but some good stuff too. The deck builder's toolkit. So got a lot of variety in here as far as beginner entry level Magic the Gathering products. And the reason why I have such a variety is because I'm trying to build a cube, like an actual cube of cards. And from what I've done, kind of like separating the cards, this is going to be like a first draft of the actual cube, and I've quite the variety. So on my first, like my sleeved cards that I'll show you, I kind of have like the first draft of where the cube is at, and I'll show you that real quick. But I just want to appreciate like what kind of deck box this is. I mean, you can store a lot of cards in here, and I'm just really impressed by that. Tolarian Community College, he goes on and on about, these little flaps over here, but, that's actually much appreciated. I mean, I think that's a very, very good, inclusion into the deck builder's toolkit to give, people who buy into that just an extra, item, useful thing that they can use, which I'll go over into how, there's some improvements that I think could be made into some of these products, but, we'll get into that later. But these are just a bunch of jank that came with. A lot of it is from, actually all of this is from the Star City games. Yeah, I'll show you the Star City game stuff, as well as like kind of the bulk that I've got from like the deck builder's toolkit and all of the modern, more recent expansions. So, but over here, so this right here is all the sleeved colors that I have going on for my cube. And again, this is like the very, very first rough draft. I'm about, it's not completely even. I only took cards that kind of interested me, and I thought were kind of decent. Got to play the cube, got to draft it and see where it's at. See if it's actually, if those cards are actually, worth it. A lot of it is just completely bad. Common bulk from this Star City games, but there are some interesting cards. Even though they're lower in power level, I think that's kind of what makes the end result going to be kind of interesting, because I think it does two things. First of all, like the lower powered cards, they aren't as complicated, and there's not like so much ridiculous crazy stuff that Magic is totally capable of doing. If you have some of the older cards, some of the crazy shenanigans, God knows what kind of stuff. I mean, I don't want to get into it because there's so much history into Magic, and I don't know all of that, all of the wombo combos and everything. So that's kind of one of the perks of building your own cube, right? Is you can include crazy amount of power stuff, like just ridiculous power level stuff. But I think that's something that, with this strategy of buying this bulk, which actually turned out to be quite an impressive collection of variety, in my opinion. Of course, there are some, some downsides to this product. There's, few cards that are lower quality. They come, like bent or, just, I don't know, just poor condition. But, and you also get some foreign cards, but for the most part, you get a really nice collection of variety that you can build a good base for a cube. And in my case, I already got the first draft going on, already kind of sleeved them up with these penny sleeves, just again, not really high quality cube cards, but for someone who's just starting to get into Magic, and well, first of all, I should probably tell you why I got into cube. As a beginner, when you're looking at into getting into Magic, you're going to be introduced into formats more or less relatively quickly, right? And again, that's just another layer of why Magic is so complex to get into, is because there's so much going on, so many different products, so many different formats, so many different cards, and as well as the expense of getting into paper Magic. There's a lot of kind of barriers for the beginner, but for me, when I saw Cube, I was like, whoa, this is kind of interesting, this is kind of cool, because it kind of appeals to, if you're an arena player from Hearthstone, you kind of have that randomization of getting the booster, and then having to kind of pass it around, and you got to think about what you're going to build, what kind of colors you're going to choose, and all that good stuff. And Hearthstone, even though it's a lot of it, you have that kind of arena helpers now. I think building your own cube, just playing with people in person, kind of having an equal playing ground. Not everyone has the crazy next level deck. Everyone has to kind of decide on their own strategies there in that moment, in that pack. They have to choose. I think that's super cool and something that I really enjoy, and I think, or just the concept I really enjoy, and I think that's going to be something that I'm going to enjoy playing as kind of like in a board game setting with brand new players. I think having the simplicity with the power level being lowered, you'll be able to go through cards much more quickly as a group overall. And as a matter of fact, I was thinking of doing 6 boosters, but now I'm thinking of only doing 4 boosters because I'm gearing my cube towards a 4-person, 5-person setting. Got to think about how we're gonna do the league. Maybe have a point system, 3 points for a win, etc. And see how that goes. But I'm thinking of reducing this from 6 packs to 4 packs. I was thinking of 6 packs because giving all of those extra cards gives the beginner. I'm trying to give this not an exact representation of a draft format, but something that's kind of enjoyable in a casual setting. So also, I'm going to do free mulligans on the first mulligan. I'm thinking of just doing on your first mulligan, you can just mulligan to 7 for free, and then after that you go down to 6, just as a free mulligan to help out beginners, as well as having this extra card pool for having 6 packs. In my mind, I was thinking, well, that's gonna be awesome because you have so many more cards, but at the same time I'm thinking that might be more intimidating, maybe too much choice, so I might reduce that down to 4. Typically you draft with 3 boosters, but I think that 4th booster could help. And also another thing is the time constraint. So I gotta reformulate this, but as you can see here, out of all of the bulk that I'm gonna show you, there's a lot of jank and a lot of what people would say are just crappy cards, and I would agree with them. Yes, they are crappy, but at the same time I think it makes for an interesting end product, this kind of mishmash of kind of decent cards, and then kind of cards down here are just I didn't sleeve them up because they were in the pile of I didn't think they were good, and then I looked back and I was like, you know what, I'll just throw it in here, just kind of as a rough draft, like a pile of cards that I can go back and see. Maybe they improve if I include some more of the more recent cards. I don't know, but I just included them. I wanted to include them, but if you actually look at this, about 600 cards are viable for a cube, and I think you can definitely make a small cube, like a personal cube for your little play group. If you have a small play group, obviously if you have 8, you gotta gear towards that. But at the same time, I think you can have a decent in-game product just from this simple product right here with the Star City Games bulk collection. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of variety from a lot of crazy past card sets, and when I say a variety, I mean there's some that go back way back. I mean, you can tell they're old Magic cards, and I think that's really, really cool. You're gonna get some foils. Obviously, you don't expect to buy into this product and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna flip all the cards and stuff. Some people think that they buy a product and they try to flip the cards inside it. Don't think you're gonna do that with this. This is more of like for the beginners, for people who are just starting to get into Magic, I think, who have no collection, or someone who's getting back into Magic, or maybe your kids are getting into Magic and they don't have a big collection. You can just be like, boom, hit them with that 1,000 gold collection, and trust me, you're gonna keep them satisfied because there's actually most of it's in here. You're gonna keep them satisfied because you know it is a decent product, and as far as card quality, as far as making a cube, that's kind of my end game. Obviously, if you're trying to get into standard or something, you're gonna have to buy a different product. This is more towards casual, at home, the kitchen table, chill out, build jank decks. Another thing that could be improved on this product is including more lands, but at the same time, I mean, you get so many lands from buying all these different products that that's not really necessary. But as far as like buying into this, I was expecting a little bit more lands just so I can build more decks, but I ended up building 4 decks. They aren't optimized, obviously, but in this case, these decks were stripped down for my cube. I kind of stripped everything down for this entry-level cube that I'm about to show you. But I just wanted to show you where I'm at as far as like the card base, kind of my mentality of expanding the boosters, and also just showing you that just getting into Magic, you can easily build a cube. At least as far as I'm concerned, like it's not gonna do all the cool stuff, obviously, that a lot of people build cubes for. It's not gonna do any of that cool stuff. But at the same time, just to start learning how to play Magic and playing with friends, and sometimes having that cost of playing the booster drafts, $5, $10, $13, $15, or whatever it is, that expense is a deterrent to some people. Even though that kind of format, the drafting of the cards, should be embraced. I mean, that's such a cool idea, right? Like, you pass a booster pack to one another and pick the best card in your mind, or at least whatever's going into your strategy as far as deck building, then and there, I think that's just such a cool format, and for people to say, hey, I don't want to go to a booster draft because, it's $10 or whatever, that's kind of the benefit of building a budget cube, right? Alright, so let's actually get into the cards, because I've been rambling on and on. Oh, crap. So I'll go by color, and I'm going to do the sleeves with the unsleeved, and you'll see what I mean by cards that kind of go down in quality from the unsleeved. Even though like some of these sleeved cards are really hilariously bad as well. We'll go through it all, but alright, so here's white as far as my cube. As far as the rough draft, I don't know what's going to make the final cut. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what card limit I want to reach, because I want to have a good variety. So every time I draft the cube, I'm going to have different cards. So I don't want to have, for example, a 360 card cube and just have that 360 cards. I want to have, maybe 400, 450, even 500 cards in that card pool, just so I can, expand, have different variety, mix it up every now and then. Obviously, if you go like double the size of the draftable card pool, you're gonna have kind of a much crazier experience. It's not gonna be as you're not gonna have a kind of an identity of the cube with so much variety. If you expand the card pool so much that the kind of rough idea of what the cube is, what this represents as far as like the jank, as well as the jank that I'm gonna include from the deck builders toolkit and stuff, that's gonna go away if you just have such a large card pool. So as far as this is concerned, though, this is all the Star City games, and I'll show you the cards from the more recent, Core Set 19, Dominaria, Rivals of Ixalan is in here as well. I do have a bunch of cards set out for the dinosaurs, Merfolk, vampires, and pirates set aside into Explorers of Ixalan. That, as a matter of fact, I might need to do that first, just so I can include those cards. I'm trying to make these decks into singletons, just to have kind of a unique experience as far as like a battle chest experience. Have everything be a singleton, all the decks in there. But I do need to strip those and get some of those extra cards and put them into this cube as well. So, but have a lot of different inclusions as far as the cube is concerned, but again, you're going to see a lot of jank. I don't even know if these cards are good. They're, as a matter of fact, this is probably a really bad card, but whatever. So, I don't know. I just thought this guy was interesting. He has cumulative upkeep, deals damage to target attacking or blocking creature equal to the number of age counters on it. I just think it's interesting. You know, this one pumps up your guys, protection, kind of instant, double strike. This guy levels up. I think it's kind of cool. That you can build him up to a 310 with vigilance is hilarious. By the way, if this guy can level up, shouldn't he be like a named dude? You know, he shouldn't just be like a regular soldier, right? He should be like a special legendary guy, right? I mean, it just makes sense, right? That's just me though. Daring Skyjack, 3/1. You know, I think it kind of flows with the mentality of, you know, if you do go into white, you can go into white aggro, and I think this guy's kind of decent because he gets flying. That's kind of cool. This guy, he can tap into stuff. He has 2 toughness as well. He's not really there to attack. He's there to, you know, mess with your opponent. Another leveler. These cards are just cool in the cube, I think. Just because if you see it in a pack, you're going to be like, whoa, what is this? Ooh, okay, interesting. Gather the Townsfolk if you go wide. Feeling of Dread. Tap up to 2 target creatures. I think it's a nice little control thing that you can also flash back. Mighty Leap, classic. Also really like that art with the kind of like the stegodon. What is that? An elephant? Or what are the ancient elephants called? I don't know. But yeah, the reason why is because I should have it back here, right? Hold on. There's one of. You'll see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, it might be in the jank or the unsleeved. Let's see here. Mastodon. Stegodon. Mastodon. Yeah. Okay. But I was going crazy there for a second. So Mighty Leap, just a kind of a classic card. Nice little mini combat trick. Assaultive. Forgot what this does. Oh, it's interesting. The art is really cool, by the way. But you know, maybe just some to mix it up as far as maybe control. I don't know. Again, you know, these cards are lower in power level than what you would typically see. Oromancer. Beautiful art, by the way, by Rebecca Guay. Or Guay, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but I love the watercolor. I really like different artists who have different kind of styles, you know? Well, in white, it's not really well represented what I'm talking about, but you'll see, like in black, for example, you can see some really dark stuff in black that, you know, only certain artists are, you know, they have their own style and that kind of approach to art, but yeah, Hazda Snare Squad. This guy, he's just tap your opponent. Now, obviously, in today's meta, there's the Staghorn, the deer, the 4-mana 3/3. And then there's also the Territorial Skullbasher in Ixalan, which is a 2/3 that every time it attacks, it also taps an opponent. So this one's a 1/4, but you know, it's a human, so. And also you had to pay 1 extra, which is like, but I think it's draftable. Basilica Guards, Extort. I really think anything with Extort should have, you know, a vampire, be a vampire, but, you know, whatever. It is a defender. Maybe this is for the control kind of style with the 1/4 bodies. I really don't know, as far as archetype, what white is trying to represent. I'm just trying to put in cards that are just, you know, kind of interesting and kind of cool. This one, anytime a white creature enters, you tap a target creature an opponent controls, which I think is, you know, relatively decent. As far as going aggro, maybe. Again, tap target creature defending player controls every time it attacks. Apex Hawks, +1 counter for each time it's kicked. Core Sanctifiers, another kicked. Destroy Artifact, pretty decent. This one, I guess if you go wide strategies, you get a 1/1 flyer. It's kind of like the Artificer in M19, the 1/2 with the 1/1 Adopter. This one, Populate and Indestructible, which is interesting. I don't know if it's draftable, but we'll see. Righteous Charge, pretty cool little foil. One of the few foils I got. Creatures you control get +2/+2. Sorcery speed. Tarashi's Grasp, destroy target artifact or enchantment. And I think this one's really nice because you gain life equal to its converted mana cost. So, obviously in this cube though, there's not a lot of good artifacts. So some of this is going to have to be, I'm going to have to include relevant artifacts eventually and enchantments from the sagas and stuff from Dominaria. I'm going to, buy into more stuff to include in the cube that'll increase the effect of that card. Safe Passage. Meh. Sandblast. This one's decent. It's kind of like a slower, slightly more powerful Gideon's Reproach. This one's the Double Strike. Yeah, if you go wide, you're going to have to spend a lot of mana though, but I think in the slower cube format, it's going to pay off. This one's a really cool art, by the way. I also like the white border, but destroy target enchantment. 4 mana, 2/2 flyer. Wall of Swords. If you go defensive, I don't know. We'll see what kind of archetypes are drafted in the cube. Again, just trying to include all of the jank that I got from the bulk. This one's interesting. This one's interesting. Builder's Blessing. If you have a Vigilance build, I guess, is what I was thinking, even though it's 4 mana +2 toughness. Destroy, hey, it's white removal. Gotta include that. Yep. Oh, Inspired Charge, classic. If you go wide, aggro, Nav Squad Commandos, kind of slow, but Munda's Vanguard. Now, I'm going to play house rules. I'm going to change up this card and say tap it untapped ally just means ally creature. It doesn't mean ally the creature type. Simply because I think, increase the power level of this card, it makes it more interesting, as well as I have some other ally cards that I included in the cube, and also, just for house rules, I think it'd be kind of fun to boost the power level of this card because it's kind of interesting, right? It +1 counter on each creature you control, but it's a 5 mana 3/3. I don't know. We'll see. Again, white removal. Stir the Pride. Night Watch. Chrono Savant. Commander's Authority, which is laughable, but whatever. Golden Knight Redeemer. And some more white removal. And here's the unsleeved cards. Some of these actually, like when I looked back on it, like some of these might be decent and playable, like this 2 mana 2/2. So you'll see what I mean. But again, I just wanted to have this rough draft, look back on it, and be like, hey, maybe this card improves if I include some of the more recent cards. Just want to look at my overall card stock, my card inventory, if you will. So this one, if you can't read it, it's Gust Cloak Runner. And I think it's interesting as a 1-drop, because if you do go the aggro strategy, if it does get blocked, you can remove it, untap this, so attack, gets blocked, untap, and then it gets removed from combat, which I think is interesting. Again, only picks in for 1, so we'll see how it works out. I got another card that has kind of like that old school kind of feeling to it, and it was Wall of Shadows. And we'll see how these cards pan out, but Infantry Veteran, Veteran's Reflex. Again, some of these are just kind of lower quality, not high power level kind of stuff. Like this is a 2 mana 1/3. I just like it because it's kind of cool. It's like what is this? It has the old school kind of styling. So, and maybe you get there. Maybe you get the extra 8 mana towards end game in this cube. I don't know. We'll see. It's a cleric mutant, by the way. It's a mutant. I don't know how many mutants there are in MTG. Silver Coat Lion, just a 2-mana 2/2, passable. Vigilant 2/1. I think I also really like the art in this one. Silver Chase Fox, Enchantment Hate. More Enchantment Hate. Even Squire, Exalted. I also like this art for some reason. I think it's cool. I like the birds. They're kind of interesting. 2-mana 2/2, which is similar to the Griffin, the Silverbeak Griffin. This one's cool because white border. Crossbow infantry deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Yeah. And also, house rules are going to include it as a human. I'm going to make like a house rules kind of, I guess, just rules, put it in the cube box and say this is a human. Because obviously it's a human, right? Loyal Cathar, Human Soldier, Vigilance. This one's a flip card. But I think it's playable because of that value, you know, so we'll see. Obviously I gotta get sleeves that aren't the penny sleeves. I gotta, you know, spend the money on some, you know, actual sleeves. Swamp Walk, interesting. Thought it'd be good from the sideboard for some white decks. Pacifism, I think this one's a cool art with the white border. Also the dude like dropped all of his armor and is like leaving the battlefield. I think that's hilarious. I like interesting stuff like that. Ooh, Mighty Leap, already have that, so I gotta take that out. It's already sleeved up. Aerial Maneuver, yeah. First Strike, Flying. 2/4, Combat Trick. 1/1, Creature Combat Trick, yeah, all creatures. Revoke Existence, Artifact Enchantment Hate with Flashback. Renounce the Guilds, could be interesting from the sideboard. Sacrifice multicolor permanent. This one, I like the art for some reason, because it's like this ethereal kind of like being. Wipe Clean, remove target enchantment from the game. It also has cycling, so might be passable in this slow cube setting. Urgent Extortion, Exorcism. Destroy target spirit or enchantments. I feel like people are going to ask what spirit is. I'll say it's a creature type. Human Knight has flanking as well as target knight pump. Again, might be passable in the slower format. Reliquary Monk. This is a slow artifact enchant removal. It has to die first, but I like the old school feeling of the card. Chapel Geist, 2-mana or 3-mana 2/3. Swamp Walk, good from the sideboard. Voiceless Spirits, 2-mana 2/1 Flying First Strike. Flying 2/1. 2/2. It has to be enchanted though. Again, another Rebecca Guay card though, so gotta include it. Really interesting card art. Yo, I like this card art as well. Target creature can't block. 3-mana 3/1, unfortunately though. But there's not going to be any chain rollers in my cube. Deals 1 damage. Redirect some damage for 2 mana. I don't know. 3-mana 2/2. Again, another one of those, you know, ethereal beings. I like these ethereal guys. The guys made out of light. It's kind of interesting. Kind of reminds me of Warhammer a little bit with the armor. Kind of cool. Maybe like a chaos kind of being. Sky Hunter, Skirmisher, Double Strike Flyer. Maybe enchant this up. It's a Cat Knight, interesting enough. Kind of like a pterodactyl mount. Prevent up to 2 damage to creature or player. Only a cost is a tap. Also old school card. I think it's from one of the Unhinged. I don't know. Sanctum Custodian. Guardian's Pledge. White creatures you control get +2/+2 for 3 mana. Could be good in, you know, maybe a white-red, splash-red kind of aggro deck. Ritual of Steel, old school kind of feel to it. Draw a card at the beginning of the upkeep. you know, could be passable in a you know, a booster pack. It might be the last playable card if you're in white. Excommunicate, it's interesting, you know. Tempo loss, top of its owner's library. Midfest, Protector, Protection, yep. Human Wizard, also like the art. Infect Flyer, could be good. Mankind's Griffin. Oh, also gotta include in house rules what poison counters do in the little. If brand new players are getting into the cube, they might not know what poison does, so gotta include what that does. Because I don't think it says that, you know, the 10 counters gives you the win, so yeah. Mankind's Griffin. Again, a bunch of flyers that come here in white. 2/4. 2/3 flyer. It gets +1/+1. Whenever ETB one of your creatures. Flying 2/3 for 4 mana. 3 mana. 3/2. Now this card actually gets better. Also, this one with the first strike gets better with Quende, who improves your first strike to double strike, and I have him in here with, you know, I got him from a booster pack, so as a legendary creature, I think that'd be interesting to, you know, as a singleton, include all of your first strike, and then payoff is Quende. That'd be interesting. These are flyer double strikes. That'd be kind of nasty. We'll see. Flying, bolster 1. I have 5 mana. Again, some of these are completely bad jank, but, you know, it's very slow, some of these cards, but at the same time, you know, they're simple for a budget beginning cube. It's kind of interesting. You know, we'll see how it works out, but yeah, that's the jank. Some of these are actually kind of decent now that I look back on it, but so yeah, that's white as far as the Star City games. I'm going to show you the white as far as the more recent stuff next. Again, as my collection expands, this will also expand, so Tragic Poet, not really that good, but maybe it's passable. Rustling Falcon, Liliana Vanguard, Charge, Famished Paladin, Johnny's Pridemate. Gotta include more lifelink triggers, I think. First Strike Flyer, Human Knight, Human Warrior. This one's kind of interesting with the 3/1s, a bunch of 3/1s. A 2/1 with the Buff a Buddy, Gideon's Reproach, Revitalize, Trump of Gerard might be good. Seal Away, of course. Adamant Will, good combat trick maybe. A small Knight's Pledge, might be a small enchantment that might be good in an aggro deck. Pegasus Courser, seen this guy do a lot of work in draft videos. Militia Bugler, Daneth. Alright, so Danetha. Loxodon Linebreaker. Vanilla creature, but I think he's pretty cool looking. Trapper, not sure how good this is gonna be. Probably not that good, but whatever. Just given the options. Trusty Pack Beast. Make a Stand. Invoke the Divine. Good sideboard. Squire Devotion. Creates a body. Some creature control. Another 2/3 flyer. Gain life for each creature. A 1/7 wall, essentially. This guy's a beast. Tough to kill. Even Sentry. Quende, there we go. I think that this effect is really cool. Creatures you control with first strike potentially becomes good if you can build around them. I don't know. In a singleton format, it might not be consistent enough, but we'll see. Starcrown Stag, there we go. Another annoying offensive card. Sarah's Wings. 4-mana enchantment. Angel of the Dawn. Seems good, man. Herald of Faith. 3 toughness though, but Sarah Angel, of course. Excavation Elephant. Yeah. 3/5 body. Sarah's Guardian. Okay. So that is white. So, as you guys may have noticed, there's not a lot of, well, this is the Star City game stuff, but as far as vampires from Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, stuff like that, all of that is kind of put away I'm gonna filter through all of that for the Ixalan board game, and try and make those decks singletons as well. But here we go into blue. So this is, we're going back into the original Star City Games collection. Just a bunch of bulk commons and, you know, stuff that isn't high powered. It's just, you know, bulk rares, like nothing really valuable, but you know, still something fun to build around for a cube, for a budget cube. So let's get into the Star City Games, kind of the sleeved versus the unsleeved. This is kind of like the first picks. This is kind of like the bench. That, you know, these are the cards that I didn't think were that good, and I kind of put them into the side, and I was like, you know what? Let's put them back in here. Let's put them into all of this as one consideration pile, kind of rough draft. So let's get into it. Alright, so downsize. Yeah, might be decent, I don't know. Might be a little control-ish card. Blinding Drone. Frilled Oculus. 05 Wall. Love that art, by the way. An Apprentice. Jeskai Sage. Well, I think this is going to be a good card to demonstrate kind of like the Bomat Courier trick where, you know, you get blocked and then you can sacrifice it. So I think that'd be kind of cool to teach that. Jeskai Sage. Prowess. Elusive Spellfist. Doorkeeper. I don't know if the mill archetype is going to be making a big splash in this. I'm still missing a bunch of mill cards, but I do have it available just as an option. This Merfolk guy. Again, this is another mill, I think, yeah. Think Twice. Sky Games. Root of Soul. Sustain a full stroke. Stratus Walk. Hominid Spawning Bed, which turns, you gotta sacrifice a blue creature, and it turns them into tokens, which I thought, you know, whatever. It might be interesting. Gridlock. This Anatomus guy. That's kind of weird. He's also a wizard. Nimbus of the Breath. Scroll Thief. Headless Scab. Nurok Invisimancer. Stealer of Secrets. Rakshasha's Disdain. And another counterspell. Again, we don't have the best premium counterspells. I do have a negate, I think, from the Deck Builder's Toolkit that I have over here that I'll show you in a second after all of this. But as you can see, it's just, you know, commons. These are kind of interesting though because they're kind of control-ish against creatures, so thought they would be nice in the cube. This one you could build around. Potentially you realize, hey, I got a bunch of humans. I don't know. This one I just really like because of the old school art. This is another mill card. Another mill card. Again, just giving the option of having that be built. This guy's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. He also looks like a ninja. He looks more like ninja than a rogue. Bonds of Quicksilver, 4 mana. It's pretty expensive, but it's a foil, so gotta throw it in here. Trying to ball on a budget. Mind State, another counterspell. Inspiration. Again, expensive, draw 2 cards, but whatever. It's kind of interesting how she's in a like this red background. Don't you think that's kind of weird? Shouldn't it be like white or something? Kind of looks like a weird setting, right? Just looks kind of odd, especially on this blue. 4C. Vivisection. Summoner's Bane. Guy Snatch. Some counterspells. Another counterspell. Mercurial Pretender. This guy's interesting. He's like coming out of a wall. That's like freaking weird, man. Like what in the world, dude? Get back in the mirror. Holy crap. It's freaking weird. But yeah, he's kind of interesting effects. Not sure if you can read him, but also he's a foil, so probably not that good of a card though. But this guy's just interesting. Look at target opponent's hand. Hey, why not? Giant freaking bird, but he's a wizard on a bird. Thought that was cool. 5 mana though, but hey, why not? It's a slower format. It might be a good win condition. Never know. Vanguard. Mindless Drake for that mill. Messenger Drake. Another cool foil. Restoring Cloudscape. Again, you know, I'm trying to keep these cards to be relatively simple. Some of these are more complex, but this one, Suspend, isn't too complex of an interaction, I don't think. I think people can get through that relatively quickly. Enhanced Awareness, Covenant of Minds, and the Silent Prophet, which is just interesting. Legendary creature. Very, very cool card. It's a wizard. It's a Moonfolk. And we'll get into the unsleeved. Alright, so this is the unsleeved. Kind of the bench cards that, you know, didn't quite make the initial version of my kind of very, very first alpha draft of the cube. But I decided to, you know, put these in the rough draft as well after consideration, just to say, hey, you know what? They might be playable later on, but, you know, let's get into it. Kraken Hatchling, not sure how good a 1 mana 0/4 is, but whatever. Sleep Deprivation might be good against aggro. Cloak of Invisibility, which seems freaking ridiculous, actually. Don't know how I missed that. Sea Scryer. Okay, some extra ramp. Some fairies in here, kind of interesting. Maybe if you go an aggro blue flyers kind of strategy. Artifact, I don't know how good, I need to get more good artifacts to make an artifact a viable portion of the cube, to make that a viable play strategy, but, you know. Just have these kind of, you know, these are relatively weak cards. I mean, let's face it. This one, 2 mana sorcery speed. Creatures target player controls don't untap during that player's next untaps. I mean, that's a sleep, right? It's a better sleep, right? If I'm not mistaken. Tidal Surge, without flying. Crown of Ascension. Again, I love these old school cards. They're just really, really sweet. Even though they're not like high quality as far as power level. They're not high power level. They're just interesting to look at. Different to include in the cube. Yeah. Spectral Prison, some more control. Runner's Bane. Rebecca. I've been mispronouncing her name. It's Rebecca Guay, I think, is how you pronounce her last name. But anyway, it's another one of her cards. I'm not sure how good this one is. It is a 2/1 flyer, though, but we'll see. It might be playable in this format. Yeah. Windrake, of course. I love this old school kind of, I don't know, it's just freaking awesome that I got a Windrake that's this old school. And I also have like the more modern ones, but I was like, this is definitely the one I gotta throw into the queue. It just looks sweet. Tower Drake. Again, some, you know, not high quality cards over here, but you never know. I thought this one was just interesting. Negative 13 power. Like what? It's kind of interesting. Again, you know, having this cube, introducing all of these unique creatures to beginners, I think is going to be a fun experience. As well as just the visual appeal of these different looking cards. You know, I'm sure someone's going to ask, oh, why is this one white border? Why is this one black? I'm like, I don't know. Just the edition that they came in or whatever. It's just like, ugh. It just looks cool. So, I really like the fact that you get a bunch of classic, old school, kind of, not really legacy cards. I don't want to say that because that's a format, but more of a, you know, just old school bulk, you know, commons that just aren't high power level, but they still have that visual appeal of when Magic the Gathering was, you know, quote unquote back in the day. And I think they would actually include, yeah, 1997, so pretty sweet. Merfolk. Again, I gotta include more Merfolk from the Ixalan board game. I'm trying to make those into singletons. Flash 4 mana. 3/2 flyer. Flash 2/3. That's probably really slow, but it's a hollow. Discard card. Shroud. Interesting. This one's really expensive, but why not? Again, this one actually might be playable. Oh, it's a tapped creature, never mind. I mean, but you know, whatever. I mean, if you're in a pack and you see it as the last card in your color that you're drafting, or your primary color or whatever, you might draft it. It might be playable in this kind of jank cube. So I think this one's kind of cool, but for 6 mana, I mean, as far as the art though, it's like really awesome, but 6 mana, eh. Will of the Naga has Delve. Eternity Snare, 6 mana. But you do get to draw a card, but 6 freaking mana. Alright. Okay, so here's the blue cards from the more current M19, Dominaria, Rivals of Ixalan, as well as Ixalan. Those last 2 expansions are a little bit underrepresented because, again, those cards are being sorted out for the Ixalan board game, trying to make singletons of those decks, but here we go. Gearsmith Prodigy, gotta include more, you know, high-powered artifacts and to make that an archetype, I think, but, you know, we'll see. Curious Obsession, Opt, Syncopate, really nice. And Speaker, Merfolk Trickster, which I think is a nice uncommon. Surge Mirror, Blink of an Eye, Disperse, Essence Scatter, Negate, Anticipate, Relic Runner, Dwindle, Even Wind Mage, Aviation Pioneer, Skilled Animator. Again, gonna make that into an archetype, gonna include better artifacts. Exclusion Mage, Deep Freeze, Unwind, Waterknot, Secrets of the Golden City, Divination, Wizard's Retort, Cancel, Scholar of Stars, Narumeha, Master Wizard, a Wizard Lord, Homerid Explorer, again, trying to make that an archetype for Mill. 4 cards is nothing to laugh at. Run Aground, top of its owner's library, yeah. Bone to Ash, Academy Journey Mage, Sphinx, Cold Water Snapper, and a Riddlemaster Sphinx. So that is blue right there. Gotta improve my collection. Again, that's a little bit underrepresented as far as the blue cards because a lot of the blue Merfolk are gonna get sorted out into the Rivals of Ixalan board game. But let's get into black. Alright, so here is the black cards as far as the Star City Games bulk. So here is the ones that are sleeved. Okay. Appetite for Brains. Soul Stare Expedition. Duress. Ruthless Coldblade. Battle Brawler. Blood Scrivener. Yoke of the Damned. Cabal Inquisitor. Brood of Cockroaches. Grimclaw Bats. Dagger Drum Imp. Spectre's Whale. Wall of Shadows. Yeah, this is a ridiculous card in my opinion. Agent of the Fates. Ghostly Changeling. Corpse Blockade. Hired Torturer. Tomb Hex. As well as Landfall, it's an instance. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Unhollowed pact. Swat. Give him a swat to the face. Assassinate. Strangling suit. I really like this art, by the way. Just, isn't it hilarious? Just boom. Smack you in the face. Strangling suit. Flashback. Hideous end. Pretty decent. Sword. Oh, it's instant. That's not too bad. Mind Rot. Night Terrors. Evernight Shade has Undying. Phyrexian Monitor. I'm gonna regenerate him. I gotta teach that to the beginners, I think. I don't know how, because I don't think regenerate is too common nowadays in the more modern packs, but whatever. I'll just explain it to the beginners, but Crypt Ripper. Cool, cool. This one, I really like the flexibility in this one. Perilous Shadow. Maybe in a control. I mean, it has that pump. +2/+2. Tendrils of Corruption. Not sure how good this one is, but you never know. Doomwake Giant. Again, another mill card. Also gives you mill, but I don't know. We'll see if the archetype pans out. Nightwing Shade. Rise from the Grave. Corpulent Corpse. Public Execution. Grave Exchange. Sins of the Past. Marsh Mist Titan has Devotion. Necropolis Fiend. And Tithys. Tithys. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna try it anymore, but because that's just a ridiculous word. But it has this suspend effect, suspend 5. So I don't know. Pretty cool art. Throw it in the cube. Why not? All right, let's look at the unsleeved ones that were put back into the rough draft, put back into consideration. Okay, starting with Vampire Lacerator. I don't know why I didn't include it in the first like alpha draft, but this one, enchantment turns into a 3/2 halfway into the game. Probably not that good, but whatever. Stabbing Pain. Oh, is it a flyer? No, it's just a hound creature. Because it looks like flyers, so whatever. Stabbing Pain, maybe in an aggro deck. Can block. Divest. Fear. Marauder. Yeah, some of these are actually pretty decent. Oh, I think I already have this one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I already have that one. First Strike Haste. I don't know. Child of Night. Sickle Ripper. Vanilla 2/2. Vanilla 1/3, I mean. Soul Strings, Thought it was interesting though as far as the old school kind of feel. Contaminated Grounds. Might be a control option, I don't know. Dead Reveler. A Necromancer. Blood Rage Vampire. Rakdos Drake. Minister of Pain. Some Icebreakers that discard card for each player. Severed Legion has Fear. Gruesome Encore. Cartouche. So this one actually is from the Challenger deck that I just threw in, that last copy. I don't know how it appeared in here. Should be the more recent, but whatever. Oh, again, Doomfall, what the heck. From the more recent, but whatever. Reap the Seagraph. Probably not that playable, but we'll see. Has Flashback. House in Gloom. Feeding Frenzy. Grizzly Transformation. Unhallowed Pact. Cower in Fear. Chosen of Markov. This is a flip effect. Becomes a 4/4. Got some cleavage shown. Nice. But Chosen of Markov. Untapped Vampire. Yeah. And a Namana Sellsword. Again, we're going to change that ally requirement into just ally creature as opposed to an ally creature type. That way it improves the power of this card, makes it more interesting. 3/2 fly for 4. Screeching Buzzard. Dies, gives -2, -2. This one, I don't know. 4 mana, 4/5. Might be good against the mirror, against other black decks. We'll see. Zoff Shade. Pump Up guy. Marker the Vampire. Erebos Emissary. A lot going on in here, but you know, it might be passable. Cyclopean Giant. Thought it was interesting that it turned a land into a swamp. I just like those, you know, oddball effects. Highway Robber. Like the white border. But also, the effect isn't that good. You only get a 2/2 body. Launch Party. Flesh Allergy? Flesh Allergy, yeah. Flesh Allergy. Got the hollow one. It's kind of cool. Bog Tatters. I was going to say Bog Taters. I was like, oh, don't say that. It probably sounds so dumb. Bog Tatters. 4/2 Swamp Walk. Pretty cool art. Dreadmaw. Probably not that good, but whatever. Nightwing Shade. Rabid Bloodsucker. Horror of the Dim. Prowling. Pangolin. Got the old school version. Old school art. Caustic Crawler. 4/3 landfall. Trader's Clutch. Not sure how good this one is. Does have flashback though for a reduced cost. Kind of interesting card design. Essence Drain, really expensive removal, but whatever. Homicidal Seclusion, probably not that draftable, but whatever. We'll leave that up to the drafters. Maze Abomination. Assassin Strike, good removal. Essence Feed. Grave Exchange, which I think already have sleeved, but you know, we'll check on that later. Alright, so here's the black as far as the Deck Builder's Toolkit and some booster bulk. So we got the Vampire Neonate, Diregraph Ghoul, Fungal Infection, Queen's Bay Soldier, Direfleet Hoarder, Reassembling Skeleton, Dusk Legion Zealot, Doom Dissenter, a Walking Corpse, Die Young, Moment of Craving, Abnormal Endurance, Vicious Offering, Macabre Waltz, Skymarch Bloodletter, Deathbloom Thallid Murder, Cabal Paladin, love this art by the way, Gravedigger, Skeleton Archer, Blood Divination, Liliana Spoils, Strangling Spores, another good removal spell, Eviscerate, some more removal, Vampire Sovereign, Lich's Caress, Contract Killing, and a Gravewaker. So that's sealing out the black. As far as the more recent additions to the cube, or as far as this rough draft is concerned, kind of the consideration, what's going to make the final cut, we shall see. But let's see here, we'll get into red. Okay, so again, we'll start off with the Star City Games Gold, the sleeved kind of first picks into the cube. We'll see how these pan out. Bellows Lizard, Faithless Looting, Mugging, Racecourse Fury, Fire Breathing, really like this one, it's kind of cool. Plated Geopede, it's an interesting design. Torch Fiend, some artifact hate. Riot Piker, first strike but has to attack each turn. Generator Servant. There's Hound Guy. Soulbright Flamekin. Drilling Ogre, 2 mana 3/3, which is interesting. This Echo guy, Scalding Devil, Mountain Walk, white border though, kind of cool. Corehouse Chainwalker, Unleash, Berserker, Glacial Ray, Thunderbolt, Fling, Lash Out, Shatter, Goblin Warpaint. Ooh, is that another Thunderbolt? Ooh. Yep. Take that one out. Alright. Yeah, I definitely gotta make sure it's a singleton with the black cards. I think I have a couple of duplicates in there that I, wasn't 100% sure of, but I like this guy. He's just blue hate. It's like, yeah, deal 2 damage to target blue creature. That's pretty awesome, actually. You could tell that's old school art as well. Target creature can't block. Haste. Blood Ogre. First Striker. Got these weird Defender in reds, but... Ooh, I like this Gutter Snipe. He's kind of cool. Yeah, I just like this Gutter Snipe because he's kind of different looking with that kind of like glowing hand. Another Defender. Gain Haste. Target creature. Lightning Prowess. Act of Treason. Goblin Slide. I'm not sure if goblins are going to pan out. Is this a goblin thing? Non-creature spell, okay. So yeah, that could be good without goblins. Undying Rage, I think this one goes back to your hand, yep. Yeah, 2 owner's hands. Fires of Undeath. Puncture Blast. Mark for Death. Crusher Zendikon. Blade Tusk Boar. Intimidate. Mad Prophets. I'm not sure how good this one is, but I thought he was crazy looking, so it's like, rah! Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. He gives you that looting effect, so. Blade Tribe Berserkers. Gotta make more artifacts, or have more decent artifacts. My artifact collection's pretty lame right now. Hench Fiend of Ukor. Has the Echo effect, but he has a pump up ability. Blood of Fire Enforcers. Ninja Monk guys. Pretty cool. Oracle of Bones. This one has a lot going on, but I think he's relatively easily digestible. That a beginner can, read it and move on relatively quickly. It might be, the one card on the pack, or maybe there's like 3 cards in the pack that are text heavy, so we'll see. This Emissary guy. Demolish, have some land hate. Grotalk Thresher. Vampire Rogue in red, which is interesting, has Undying. Wrecking Ogre, Double Striker. Also think, yeah, you can, that's pretty insane. You can give Blood Rush to someone, maybe as a finisher. Yeah, that's actually really good, I think, right? Yeah, target doo-doo, wow, okay. Valakut Fireboar. I don't know, interesting design. Pitchburn Devils. Very easily digestible card. Has flexibility too. Punish the enemy. Turn to Slag. Volcanic Rambler. Thunderous Wrath. Which is a potential 1 mana, deal 5 damage, which is insane. Into the Maw. And this Ogre guy, which is a white border card, which is cool. Alright, so let's get into... Whoa. Get into the kind of the cards that were off into the bench, the unsleeved red cards from the Star City Games lot. And here we go into red. So Panic, not sure how good that one is. Clear a Path, maybe it's a sideboard card. Kindled Fury, Furious Resistance, it's a blocking creature. Weapon Surge, like the Overload effect, I think that's pretty cool. And Flame, I don't know how good that one is, but whatever. Again, we're just putting these into the consideration, rough draft. We will do final cuts later. Frostlink, target creature, yeah, okay. Engulfing Flames. That's flashback though. I think it's interesting that there's like a a gravestone up here. I think that's to signify the new flashback. I'm not 100% sure on that though, but I can just assume. Mountain walk. So yeah, you know, these are lower power level cards, but they're interesting in a cube setting, I think. You gotta pick the worst of the worst. Some of these aren't too bad though, but you know, they are lower power level. Get a random wall, 4/1 wall, which is interesting. This guy's a flip. It's kind of cool, but you know, well, I don't know how playable it is if no spells were cast last turn. That's pretty difficult, I think, because creature spells are pretty much going to be cast. So yeah. Gain control of target artifact. Dragon Rage. Love this art scene going on. Mardu Rune Mark. Alright, so Lightning Prowess. Slaughter Cry. This Ferrovore eats an artifact. Gets +3. I'm not sure how good that is. Maybe with treasures it might get better. Prodigal Pyromancer. This one's kind of interesting. It's also a wizard. Wall of Fire. Koth's Courier. Forest Walk. Maybe good from the sideboard. Mountain Walk. Fault Raiders. Fault Riders. Yeah, this one you have to eat land, one of your lands. It's pretty bad, I think. I don't know. Just a vanilla 3/2, but I like the picture. I think it's cool. Riot Ringleader, humans. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if Human Warriors is going to be an archetype in my cube, but target player sacrifices a permanent. Kind of interesting. Got the kind of old school feel to it. Rally the Forces, Trumpet Blast, Land Hate. Some Blood Rush. This one was only 1 mana though. Yeah, it's only 1 mana. Scorchwalker. Slinking Giant. I think the mechanic is just interesting. Gotta throw in an Ogre. Ogre Resistor. This awesome scene going on. He's like tearing off these little... I don't know what those are. They look like little goblins or something. Insect goblins? I have no idea. Skurg's Dad Cultist. You know, she's kind of cool. Deals 2 damage to target creature. Oh, you gotta sacrifice a creature though. Interesting mechanic. 4 mana though. Again, lower power level cards. Destroy target land. Yeah, Lava Axe, like this old school feel to a Lava Axe. I think that's kind of interesting. Art. Okay, so survey the wreckage, destroy target land. Oh wait, am I in? Okay, yeah, just making sure. Cleaver Riot. Aggravate, which I don't know how good this is. I really, I'm not sure. It is instant speed though. Has that chain whirler effect. Well, only to creatures, but yeah, I don't know how good that is. Turn to Slag, some removal, sorcery speed, Firemaw Kavu. Probably not that good with that echo cost, but interesting card design. 5/4 haste. Oni of Wilds, 6/5 haste. You gotta return a creature, red creature. I think this would be awesome with the Viashino Pyromancer. You know? That'd be insane actually, just hilarious. Just keep getting your Viashino back. Oh my god. Just blast him in the face with like lightning bolts after that. I only got lightning strike. I could get a copy of lightning bolt, but yeah. Maze Rusher. Maybe if you have multicolored synergy. I'm gonna improve my multicolor pool though, definitely. Inferno Elemental. Nathasar. I think we're gonna house rules change this to a dinosaur. I think by Oracle text, maybe it is a dinosaur. Gotta check that out. Sacrifice an artifact, which isn't that good, but maybe if you have treasures, it might be worth it. I have no idea. Ogre, Gear Grabber, maybe a sideboard tech. So yeah, that's where the kind of the B list cards. Some of those are actually kind of interesting though. Let's go into the more modern cards. Alright, so here is Fire Shrine Keeper, Fanatical Firebrand, Goblin Motivator. I like that he's on like a giant. Get to Lava Runner, Warlords of Fury, Shock of course, Sheevan Fire, Crash Through, Goblin Instigator, Tito Nolly's Summoner. She's just interesting card design. A lot going on, but you know, if you open her in a pack, you're like, oh, what is this? You know. Run Amok, +3/+3 trample, combat trick, alright, instant, yeah. Sure Strike, another instance, Lightning Strike, awesome art, Tormenting Voice, Sea Red, Viashino, Get to Chronicler, Champion of the Flame, Bogart Brute, Anaki Ogre, Bombard, Trumpet Blast. I think I already have a Trumpet Blast. I'm pretty sure I do. Do I have a Get to Lava? I mean, Get to Journey Mage? Blah. I think I went through Chronicler, yeah. Okay. So many Get tos. But I'm pretty sure I have that, so I'm gonna take that out. I think I'm gonna include the more old school art, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, Get to Journey Mage, Wizard Lightning, Gutter Snipe, Hijack, Skizzik, Hostile Minotaur, Keldon Raider, Havoc Devils, Araska Raptor, Electrify, solid removal. This should get instant picks like almost every pack, like the first 2 picks I think, just because it's like, oh, it's a foil, and then also it's just solid removal. Alright, Tectonic Rift, some more land hate, maybe that's an archetype in the, you know, cube. Radiating Lightning, Charging Monstrosar, Fire Elemental, Fiery Intervention, Volcanic Dragon, missing a Sheevan Dragon, which I included in the Pirates deck. I might take that out. Gotta go through that later, but alright, let's move on.